Kumite Gata, Gohonme, No.5. All of these are controlled experiments, and each time that you do that controlled experiment, you need to come out of it and think, well, what have I learned? So, No.5, if you look at Kumite No.5 and Kumite Gata No.5, they're quite complex manoeuvres. With Kumite you are using Taisoboku. With the Kumite Gata you're using Irimi and Kazushi, but if you take both of them and you push them together, you get this grey area where they overlap. So you can use your Irimi and your Kazushi and use your body movement within both of those. And this is the area that you want, where you've learned something from both and you put them together. There's something else that just recently I found with not only that, but with your Idori. If you put your Idori, your Kumite Gata and your Kions together, you start understanding how the arm skeletal muscles work with each other. So with the Irimi, when we do this slight circular motion, so we're learning. Thank you. We're learning how to move and manipulate the arm, so that when we come to actually execute the final move, there's not much that the Uke can do. So the same when you're doing your Kions, we're actually learning how to stretch it and lock and stretching it. So stretching and twisting and locking. So even in your Kumite Gata, if I exaggerated it, can you see how it's sort of locked the arm? It's a little bit difficult for him to sort of relax it from this position. And also it spreads the whole body. So it's learning how all these joints work, especially around by the shoulder area. So if we take it, so here, I'm sort of working this shoulder area. And because my body's going, I'm actually moving Yuki's body. So with all those, with the Idori, with your Kion and with your Kumite Gata, trying to learn things. This is for me, this is the one big thing I've learned, as well as body movement, moving in, breaking balance, but actually learning about the skeleton of the uke and the muscles and where to try and put it in the position before you actually execute the final moves. So there's some extra techniques you could put in, and some people might say to Madonna, which is unnecessary moves, but sometimes it helps you with the technique to understand the technique and possibly sometimes make it easier, or it can make it too complex. But I'll take you through them anyway. So, if we can put a little bit more pressure, not pushing, but it's starting to spread his ribs. Okay, and then we're going to support. Punching as we're going through. And sometimes it helps when you point to where you want the uke to go, which is to the floor and down. So after a while you will, if you try this at first, it gives you a direction to where his body weight and your body weight needs to go. And then you can eliminate it because you've understood it, and you can eliminate the pointing and the directional. It'll already be there, the direction. If you look at the other side, so spreading, lifting. When I go to punch, it's a mirror image. I'm trying to trap the arm coming over. As before, we point it. We do the gaku, not here, over the top. Okay? Here and down. And you can also find some vital points. But make sure that you do your try and make them flow. This Ryu sweep. Because then you get your body to hardly anything. Less is more. Get the body movement. We can all hit and punch. It's the body fluidity that we have difficulty understanding and how to use it during the technique. So make it flow. Don't use your hands. And that's not being disrespectful to the uke. This is you trying to find your technique. When you come into the final, the movements of the Kumite Gata, you need to sink down. Now, because your pelvis and your hip joints, they will, as you drop, because the stance, but you leave your arms and your body there. So what that then does is this is turning. All the feeling, all the energy, the Kumite is going to, the Sensei is going to feel, is this twist. I'm taking the twist from my body and putting it into Sensei Keri's spine. Through just lowering my body and using the natural ball and socket joint. But it's being transferred into my arms because I'm anchoring it there.
So as Sensei mentioned, there is quite a lot going on with this. The shoulder is moved in a circular action, so it's quite pinned and quite trapped and makes it very difficult to try and put any pressure back onto Tori. The counter strike before that is an Ippon Ken into the armpit. So as far up into the armpit as you can get it, there are nerves bedded in there, but you need to go quite deep to get them. So if you sort of practice, you might need to apologise to Uke a little bit as you try and find where they are. Sensei mentioned this pointing action gives you a very strong push back, which puts immense pressure on the base of the spine. And with the hips, there's also this action with the hand. So not only are you going backwards, but you're being twisted as well. Huge pressure in the lumbar spine. Sensei mentions there are all sorts of nerves in this area. So when he's taking control of the elbow, he's using his thumb to put pressure on the nerves. So when your Uke and your Tori is performing this correctly, you are going backwards, twisted, and pressure on the nerves. So you don't want to hang around there too long because it's very uncomfortable and very stressful on the back.